He makes computers seem easy, but that pocket protector says otherwise. Keeping your technology running smoothly, here's Benjamin Rockwell with Computer Talk Radio.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-6373-888. I am a computer nerd, and in a moment we're going to go through the news, the nerd news, but for non-nerds. I believe that we need to be bringing you information in regards to technology and going through and explaining some of the different aspects of what's going on with technology and so forth. So later on this hour, I'm going to be talking about ITT Tech. Yes, famous for ages about offering computer classes and whatnot. I have some insight, not because I've gone there, but because I know a couple of people who have gone there. So I'll give you sort of my 2 cents on that whole issue. Censorship is building. The closer we get to the election, man, I reported a little bit on it over the course of the last few weeks. This last week, just everybody seems to be censoring everybody. It's getting crazy. And Keith M. Sedor is going to be coming up next here on Computer Talk Radio, and he's going to be talking about Apple's massive tax hit. And, yeah, that's a whole lawsuit that they're going through, and it's huge. Some 14, 15, 16 billion with a B, billion dollars. But first, yeah, let's get into that nerd news for, non-nerds. One of the interesting things as we get closer to the election, we've got this kind of toss-up going back and forth. We've heard that Homeland Security is concerned in regards to the election coming up and the various threats against it. And these are kind of implied threats just because, well, yeah, people want to make a name for themselves. So, ironically, I did not know this, but if we go back almost 15 years, it's 15 years in a couple of weeks from now, when we go to 9/11, the 9/11, that was actually an election day in New York. I don't know if that was the state or the city, but I found that very interesting. I just saw that in passing. But so the FBI and Homeland Security are getting concerned. Cyber attacks, very concerned about the cyber attack concept, which is one of my concerns in regards to I don't think we should be doing online voting. I think we are way too vulnerable as far as a country, as far as technology, as far as even little minor tickets. It's a matter of we have not solved this whole hacking situation. As a matter of fact, we continually hear about people who are being hacked, individuals who are being hacked, and think of the value in hacking just a county, a major county in an election. And we can even go beyond that. The FBI, they're concerned about all of this kind of stuff. And yet this company, it was revealed, well, not even revealed, they were bragging about this. This company was bragging. It was talked about by Trey Gowdy. They were talking about how they blocked the FBI from recovering Hillary Clinton emails. Yeah, I'm not even going to give out the name of this company. It's available online. You know what? Go online. If you email me, you go to the contact us location. You email me. I will send you the name of the company that they're bragging about it. I don't want to give them publicity. I don't want anybody to know who this company is because, frankly, I find it despicable. Yeah, hey, I'm going to brag about the fact that my company helped secure information that was under subpoena. My company helped stop an investigation by the FBI about serious wrongdoing. Well, anyways, but that's just me. iPad. They found, through a very interesting study, that iPads are great, awesome for calming children before they were going through operations. As much so as sedatives. What? Yeah, as sedatives. Basically, it allowed for these children to be distracted. It allowed them to just kind of chill and relax before they put the children under anesthesia, before they went into surgery. This is actually really an amazing concept. And we can see this. I just saw this, actually. What was it, this last Tuesday night? I was out at dinner with a bunch of people from work, and one of them had a young child, about 5 years old, and they had an iPad. And that child was under some stress. They were in a different environment than they were used to, and they were stressing out. But the second that iPad was put in front of them, they slowly started to de-stress and focus on the iPad. We've seen this before. Now, I don't think that an iPad should always be used heavily for de-stressing, for anesthetizing our children, but it's not a bad idea under certain circumstances. So maybe that's actually kind of good. The FAA came out with their regulations in regards to commercial drones, and this has been a very interesting waiting period for us. We thought that there was going to be some serious major stuff along the way. The concept of you have to have a commercial pilot's license and things like that. The basic main points of this. Well, this is, and now mind you, this is for routine, non-hobbyist usage. So this is commercial drone pilots. This isn't a matter of people who are on their own. They just want to do their own drone work. So some of the things, the aircraft has to weigh less than 55 pounds. Now, I'll tell you, I've flown a drone before, one of the nice top-of-the-line drones. It was nowhere near 55 pounds. I think it might have been as much as 3 pounds. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. It was light. I mean, it's basically a little mini helicopter. It can't be all that heavy. Pilots have to be 16 years old minimum. Now, this is, again, for non-hobbyist usage. They have to remain within visual line of sight of the pilot, so you can't use the first-person view cameras solely as the requirement for flight. You have to know where the thing is visually. It's only allowed during daylight hours or twilight, so long as there's enough light. Maximum ground speed of 100 miles an hour. That's amazing. I think the drone I flew was maybe it hit about 60 miles an hour. Maximum altitude, 400 feet. Now that's actually not that bad. That's 40 stories high. That's able. You can take a nice, serious video of your home from that height, and probably you want it even lower than that. And there's a special remote pilot airman certificate that's required, and this is pretty good. It doesn't apply to drone delivery operations that are being developed by companies like Amazon. So this is going to cover stuff like real estate photography, surveying land, and stuff like this, music videos. So this is going to be this is a lot better than what we had expected. In one more item here before we go over to Keith M. Sedor, there is a wingsuit pilot, an Italian wingsuit pilot. He did a wonderful jump. It was kind of daring. It was one of those things where he was doing a base jump, and then things went wrong. The problem was this was streamed live, and unfortunately, this is something that is kind of gruesome. It's one of those situations where I'm wondering if we are going too far. The guy who is videotaped doing the big huge jump. I mean, he survived. That particular guy, he survived. Jump out of an airplane at 20,000 feet or whatever it was, without a parachute, and he landed in a net. Okay. But they did that with special. That was done with I don't know. I think it was Fox TV, not Fox News, but Fox TV, and I think that was amazing. We could cut away if something went wrong. This idea of live streaming, maybe not so good. Keith M. Sedor joins me next here on Computer Talk Radio.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio, so I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
Keith M. Sedor is a Mac. Benjamin Rockwell is a PC. I think a fanboy fight is about to start.
The website ComputerTalkRadio.com. ComputerTalkRadio.com. That's the easiest way for you to check out our YouTube channel. Just go to ComputerTalkRadio.com and click on the big, huge YouTube logo. If you have any questions for us, you want to talk to us about anything, go to the website, scroll on down to where it says Contact Us, and just click there and then go and figure out how you'd like to contact us. Send us the information, and we will get back with you. Keith M. Sedor joins me now, and we were going to talk about podcasting for one more week. We're going to have to put that off for a little while because, well, this week we've got some big Apple stuff that we need to talk about, and next week there's something happening. Yeah, what is that?
The new iPhone 7, assuming it's going to be called the iPhone 7, but it will be the announcement of the next generation iPhone models on September 7th.
For all we know, it could be called the iPhone Q or Z, or maybe they'll be British. They'll call it the iPhone Z.
I would wager hard and fast against those possibilities.
You don't think they'll have an aluminum case for it or something? Sorry.
Most assuredly not, unless Johnny Ive himself were announcing it. Now, funny thing, I've always criticized the British for their pronunciation of an extra syllable. But what I seem to have determined is that they're not saying aluminium. Mm-hmm. They're not adding like an extra I in there, aluminium. I believe what they're doing is akin to Spanish-speaking languages adding a tilde to the letter N. They go, nya. So I believe it's aluminium. I believe that's what they're doing. When and where the British started using a tilde in their diction, I don't know. But that's what I think is actually happening. But I digress because Apple has far bigger fish to fry than to worry about Johnny Ive's diction.
Yeah, they've got...
They are being pressed by a commission put together by the European Union.
Yes.
To pay upwards to $18 billion in back taxes that neither the Irish government nor Apple believe they are due.
So now I don't even understand any of this stuff with how the European Union works with taxes and all of that. I mean, this was all about stuff that happened in Ireland, right? So
correct. And basically they are saying, they being this commission put together by the European Union, saying that Apple got illegal tax breaks from the Irish, and they did not. And both Apple and Ireland stand by that fact.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what the commission is trying to do is basically say, oh, this is the way we think it should have been, so we want to tax you retroactively based upon the way we think it should have been, which has no basis in fact. It has no basis in tax law whatsoever. In fact, there was a very interesting letter from Tim Cook. It was an open letter published by Tim Cook this week, which is on Apple's website, and anybody who's interested in all of the details, it's recommended reading, and it clarifies a lot. One of the things that I find particularly troubling about this, Benjamin, is the fact that basically this puts Apple in a very bad position, because should this somehow be enforceable, and it's not ultimately going to be, because both attorneys for Ireland and attorneys for Apple are going to get this reversed under appeal. But Apple has committed to building new Apple offices in Ireland. And were this to be somehow enforceable, it would seriously jeopardize Apple's ability to create all of the new jobs that they're looking to create in Ireland, in addition to the 6,000 plus that are already created in the town of Cork, which go all the way back to 1980, back when Steve Jobs first created offices in Ireland, long before the Mac was even a concept, back when Apple just had need of a European base of operations. Apple has already made plans to open a brand new facility in Ireland and start employing a whole bunch of new Irish people there. And should Apple be forced to cough up $14 to $18 billion, depending upon whose reports you read, that would seriously jeopardize the way that would play out. In fact, I saw it paraphrased this week that basically Apple was saying, well, you can have the money or you can have the jobs, but you can't have both. Now, of course, that's not a direct quote, but that is the inference being made. Saying if you put us up against the wall and make us do this, then there's no way we could actually create the economic stimulus that is so desperately needed there.
So let me go back just a little bit. So essentially what we've got is a situation where Apple was doing the legal thing. They were following along. They were doing whatever it is that they had to do for tax laws. And then the European Union said, okay, you guys aren't giving us enough money. We want more money. And even though it wasn't the law then, we should have had it a law. So now we're just going to hit you up for all of the sales taxes that we think you should pay, even though you were following the law.
Well, it's not even that, Benjamin. It's a matter of there are laws in place that are based upon the concept of the taxes being paid to the locations where the value was created. And most of Apple's innovations take place right here in the United States and California. Sure. In your neck of the woods. Yeah. And while there are things that are being done in Ireland on behalf of Apple by Apple employees in Ireland, Apple already pays the taxes to the Irish government for those things. And even Ireland says Apple doesn't owe us any more money than they already give us.
Yeah. So
there's no
Ireland,
way. I mean,
Ireland did the equivalent of an audit.
Basically, the European Union wants additional funds, and they're trying to make it retroactive, saying, well, this is the way it should have been all along, so this is what we want you to pay it based upon.
It's like back when we did that nationwide 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. And
exactly.
It's like, okay, so now we're going to go back and, so we know everybody was traveling 75 miles an hour anyway, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to write you all tickets for traveling 75 miles an hour, even though we just changed the speed limit now down to 55 or something along those lines.
That would be an interesting concept.
Yeah, it sounds like exactly like what they're doing here. So this obviously is, it's a chunk of change for Apple, but it's not actually all that earth-shattering for them, is it? If they were to have to pay all of it,
Apple supposedly is sitting on a cash hoard of over $200 billion. So while $14 to $18 billion would be a percentage of that. Would it ultimately be so substantial that it's going to affect their bottom line when they keep selling all of the products that keep adding to that cash hoard?
Yeah.
Probably not. But in the grand scheme of things, we're talking about dangerous precedents being set.
Oh, yeah.
And that could jeopardize the way companies like Apple do business. Because one of the things you'll find, if you read Tim Cook's open letter regarding this on Apple's website, one of the things you'll find is that nobody was investing in the town of Cork back in 1980 when it was very economically depressed. And having set the precedent and stimulated the economy, it paved the way for other multinational companies to do the same thing. And when they do that, it stimulates the economy on multiple levels, and everybody prospers from that. You start doing things like this to a company that's this big and this successful, all of a sudden, trickle-down economics are going to have their effect.
Oh, yeah. This is definitely one of those things where...
Not in a good way.
It's not going to be a good thing by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm hoping to address the idea of people seeing, okay, it's that trickle effect of, oh my, they've lost $14 billion. I better sell all my stock. And the reality is, this isn't going to kill Apple. This isn't going to even hurt Apple all that much, especially since this will probably be litigated for, who knows, the next decade or so.
Indeed.
As for now, this is Benjamin Rockwell.
And I'm Keith M. Sedor.
You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment. I'm constantly looking for the right place to get computer hardware. It's not easy, as there are so many stores that have gone out of business, so many shady characters online, or they're simply not capable of handling diverse needs. In 1979, two guys got together and built a computer company that could serve your nerdy needs. Micro Center. The wide range of products at Micro Center includes even the latest of Raspberry Pi, Arduino, and other hobbyist-level computers. They also have drones. They've got them in all price categories, from toys to, oh boy. Look, you're looking for console gaming, home automation. Micro Center's got that. Hardware, software, accessories, or, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. From Apple to Zyxel, Micro Center has what you're looking for. 25 stores across the nation, or you can check them out online at microcenter.com. That's microcenter.com. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-6373-888. I am a computer nerd, and a lot of this stuff that we go through it can get rather nerdy, but there are times where I have to sit back. I'm going to get really nerdy in the next section. Well, not really nerdy, but it's more of a nerd situation in the next segment. But in this segment, there's a lot in regards to how Google and Facebook and a number of these companies, our social media, our search information, our everything is falling under this very Orwellian concept of changing us. I'm going to tell you that George Orwell, with both the book 1984 and many of the other books that he went through, that he provided information and commentary for us, he was very prescient in all of the information that he was putting forward. It is just absolutely mind-boggling, just out there, that we would have to go through these different things where we must use certain words, and the control of these vocabulary items will affect us and how we communicate. I'm kind of not making sense at the moment, but let's do it like this. Let's go back a week ago. Last week, I reported that a New York Times tech writer had said Google should hide everything they've got to do. They need to go through and hide everything in regards to Hillary Clinton's health troubles. This is what he said. This was something that he put forward. And what did Google do? Exactly that. They have gone forward, and yeah, we got the report, and I verified this. I went online, as per somebody else. Somebody else reported this, and I said, okay, I want to see this for myself. And what they did was they basically went through and typed in Hillary Clinton HE. All right, so you type that into Google. This is what I got. Now, mind you, Google may change this now that this has all been divulged. But I typed in HE, and I got headquarters, health care, health plan, and stuff like that. If I type that into Bing, I got health issues. That was the second item. The first item on Yahoo was health problems. The third item was health issues. The fourth item, head injury. The sixth item, health records. And nothing in regards to her health care plan. Yeah, Bing had something in regards to her health care plan, but they went through and, it was just amazing. Just how this got skewed. I even typed in health in Google. Hillary Clinton's health, and it still didn't come up with health issues. It was all about health care and stuff like that. Hillary Care, if you will, which is a matter of Obamacare, is the latest version of it. But this is flat, out and out censorship. I mean, it's censorship in a way. Now, I mean, mind you, okay, the First Amendment, we know the First Amendment. It says the government shall not censor. Unfortunately, that does mean that other people are more than free to censor. We go back a few more weeks, a couple of months ago maybe. We were talking about the fact that Facebook had been providing this trending news section. Well, we have managed to get various confirmations over the course of the last few months. The company has gone through and fired the entire team. And basically, this entire team was going through, and they were all liberals. It was outed, basically, the political spectrum of all of these folks was far left. And this is something that Facebook, even back then and even now, they continue to fight this concept. They say diversity in all its forms, including ideological, is one of our core values, and we believe that adding voices to the conversation creates a richer and more vibrant community. That was from Facebook's general counsel. But this is something that we have seen a distinct change over the course of recent months. CNN, they went forward. They took a Trump tweet. This is coming from Donald J. Trump, a.k.a. @RealDonaldTrump. So that's a Twitter account. He said, basically, I think that both candidates, Crooked Hillary and myself, should release detailed medical records. I have no problem in doing so. Hillary ? Okay. That was what he posted. CNN took off Crooked. All right, but it's only one word. But once you take away one word, that's no longer a quote. Doesn't matter. PBS went through and they were caught editing Jill Stein. She's the Green Party nominee. Jill Stein had some criticism for Hillary Clinton in regards to, some of what's been going on there. And we have seen a number of these things. Twitter has suspended DC Leaks account. and their website was taken down. We don't know who took that one down. So we're seeing a lot of these different things going on. I am planning on having someone from the Electronic Frontier Foundation on, if we can get them on sometime soon. It's kind of chilling just what exactly is going on. The fact that everybody's coming along and saying, well, we're going to present our truth. That's what I was saying last week. That whole concept of pravda. It's not the real truth, it's somebody's version of the truth. I want to make my own decision. Put it out there, put everything out there, and let me decide. And lest you think that I'm doing this from one perspective, I don't care. I say this from both perspectives. This is just what I've noticed. Let's talk about IT Tech next, here on Computer Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Benjamin Rockwell. Most of us use digital cameras nowadays, but what do we do with those old pictures and slides in the back of the closet? Well, let me tell you about Legacy Digital Productions. They specialize in taking your old memories on film, videotape, and slides and digitizing them to DVDs. If you have boxes of old slides, then you know they fade more and more each year. Let Legacy Digital scan them for you and stop the aging process dead in its tracks. You'll get beautiful 10-megapixel digital files, color-corrected and ready for printing. All this is done faster and cheaper than buying a film scanner and doing it yourself. Your files are then burned onto gold archival DVD discs where they will last for generations. Call right now, mention my name, Benjamin Rockwell, and receive a 30% discount on your order. Call toll-free 1-866-2-LEGACY. That's 1-866-2-LEGACY. And tell them Benjamin sent you. Your memories are priceless, so call 866-2-LEGACY now.
Lest I get into any kind of trouble piling on with everybody else, I'm going to state that anything I'm going to cover here is stories that have been told to me by various people, or my own impression of people who have graduated or went to school at ITT Tech. I am in the tech industry. I deal with people all the time with various bits and pieces of background in regards to computers, in regards to technology. And my personal experience has been, I want to hire someone, I want to work with someone, I want to work for someone who has experience, who has knowledge that comes not from sitting in a classroom, but from being out there, that kind of boots on the ground kind of concept. I want people who know how to diagnose a computer problem, not because they read about how to diagnose one, but because they can utilize common sense. Unfortunately, in many technical institutions these days, they aren't teaching common sense. They aren't teaching the boots on the ground concept. What they are covering, what they're going through is, this is how this software works. This is how you install this. This is how you install that. This is how you configure this or that, or make a web page or something like that. You get the idea, I think. I hope you've got the idea here. So I have my most recent employee that worked for me, worked underneath me at the company I work for during the week. In other words, not with a radio show. He went to, of all places, ITT Tech. Fortunately, some of his information was that practical experience, because he was a hobbyist, and he was willing to at least go forward, and he was willing to ask questions if he ran into problems, and he was willing to work with me. And that was really key in there. I needed a junior level tech, and I would have hired him whether or not he went to ITT Tech, which is the good thing. You start quizzing people down, and there are various questions that I ask. There are various things that I go through, various scenarios that tell me how a tech is going to be. So he went to ITT Tech. He had a lot of interesting experience there, such as he actually started with one particular track in mind, and then they shut down that track. They said, we're no longer offering a degree into this particular track. So he said, okay, I'll change tracks. He had no choice. If he wanted a degree, he had invested quite a bit of time into his degree with ITT Tech. And they said, that's fine. We'll help you out. Let's see. You might try this track. So he started to take the various items that he needed to complete that particular track. Now, mind you, he was only about halfway, third of the way to halfway on that first track when they no longer offered that. So he's about halfway through, maybe a little bit more than halfway through, on his second track. Now, this is when he started with me. This is when he started working with me. He was halfway through that particular track, and they said, we no longer offer that particular track. Now, mind you, these were basic tracks. This was how to be an IT technician. I mean, it wasn't like, something, how to program in COBOL or Fortran. No, this was pretty much legitimate stuff. So they then suggested he shift tracks again. His final track was one that's actually still very much in demand and is a very high dollar item. And it was the security track. But that was the third track that he was on. When we were chatting about this, he said that he essentially took somewhere around 2/3 more classes, and basically 66% more classes than he needed to in the end to get his final degree. So rather than doing 100% of classes, he did 166% of classes. Wow. And this is something I'd heard of before. This is something I've heard of since. This is not a surprise to me that this particular organization would be experiencing problems. Have they gone belly up? No. ITT Tech has been banned in various areas. California banned them earlier this week. The government has said we're no longer going to allow grants or scholarships to go there. And yes, ITT Tech has stopped enrolling students. Now, there was some indication that, they might just be cleaning things up. They're just making sure everything's clear so everybody knows what's going on. I don't think they're ever going to take in new students. The scary thing is all those people who have taken out loans, all of those different people out there who've gone down that particular road, they may not have any recourse whatsoever. The whole idea of that company being at $4.5 per share, it's at 35 cents per share as I'm recording this right now, and it's going to go down from there, I think, too. They're going to be pretty much going belly up or filing bankruptcy at least. This is not good for anybody who's going to ITT Tech. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment. Years ago, I found a web hosting company that fit my needs as a computer nerd, as a radio show host, and just a normal person. Recently, though, it was clear to me that it was time to upgrade, but I had a choice between my old plan and the new one at 7 times the cost. It was that awkward point where I could choose between a sip of water or being dunked in a pool. I searched around, comparing the many options for someone like me. After searching around for 3 weeks, there it was, SiteGround. In proper fashion, I tested their customer service, their knowledge, and their willingness to do things the right way. The SiteGround salesman made sure that I didn't overbuy and get a 50-gallon bucket when a 32-ounce soda would do.
These guys know WordPress, Joomla, and regular standard websites. These guys at SiteGround are awesome. SiteGround.com. Site, S-I-T-E, ground.com. I am going to name off a few television shows from ITV. What is ITV? It is one of the networks over in England. And you may have heard of some of these shows. Coronation Street, A Touch of Frost, Foyle's War, or Doc Martin. Now, you may have heard of those if you're on Netflix. Let me give you some of the other names that are a little bit more familiar to people here in the United States. Miss Marple, that's Agatha Christie's Miss Marple. The X Factor, we're familiar with that. Britain's Got Talent, and of course, Downton Abbey. I'm sorry. I always call it Downtown Abbey. I don't know why. Downton Abbey. Anyways, why am I talking about ITV? Well, because this is their version of Fox Television. ABC, NBC, and CBS are all owned by BBC, but ITV is independent television, and that's their version of Fox, basically. They came along and said, hey, we can do this much better than those three guys over there. But they've done something very interesting. At first, I thought this was an accident. I thought that maybe they had somebody hit a power switch or something like that. But they've got a number of channels over there. And what they did was they said, we're going to shut down broadcast across most of our channels on Saturday morning. What? Yeah. Apparently what they wanted to do is they wanted to get the citizens of the United Kingdom off to sports clubs. They wanted to basically get people out of the house. This is one of those things I've been seeing for quite a while. I haven't been following it as well as I should have, probably. But that's beside the point. This is one of the things that we really need to be doing. We need to be letting go of our technology at least once in a while. And I find it amazing that they would say, you know what? We're just going to shut it down. You guys aren't listening to us. You aren't getting up off of your sofas, off of your couches. You aren't getting out of your lazy boy recliners, your chairs, and getting outside. So we're going to make it a little bit easier for you. We're just going to turn everything off. Funny thing was, actually, some of the people still sat there, and they still were there describing their viewing experience now on a blank screen as the best entertainment they'd ever seen on ITV. Yeah, okay, that was probably from the BBC executives over there. But this is one of those things where maybe they've got something. Maybe this would be a wise idea for someone somewhere to say, hey, let's take our network offline. Just Saturday morning, offline for an hour. Maybe put something up there, say, go outside and do something. Get off the couch and breathe some fresh air. It'd be kind of nice if they said, instead of a commercial break, instead of playing commercials for the next 3 minutes, all I want you to do, go outside and just take a deep breath, relax, let it out, take a deep breath again. Yeah, that'd be great. That would be awesome. I don't think they're going to do it, though. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theRadioFactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. TheRadioFactory.com.
Hard drives, broadband routers, keyboards, and mice, but he still has those nerdy glasses. Bringing you the latest in computers and gadgetry, here's Benjamin Rockwell with Computer Talk Radio.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-6373-888. I am a computer nerd, as you well know. And you might think, my being a computer nerd, that's because I'm addicted to computers. I am just hooked on them, and I can't drag my body away from the computer keyboard. Well, okay, I can. This is always a tricky one because, you're coming to me for advice, you're coming to me for all of this knowledge, and I do have to spend a lot of time in front of the computer, but I do get away from the computer. I am not addicted to the computer. There are a number of addicting things that I can do with computers, and I could easily get sucked into a number of areas, but when I feel myself getting just drawn in, I move back, I move away. And I'm saying this, I'm going down this road to this topic, because recently I have seen, in the last 2-3 weeks, I've seen a number of different articles that have been saying that internet addiction is just bogus. Nobody's addicted to computers. Nobody's addicted to Facebook or the iPhone or anything like that. Nobody's addicted to, there's a euphemism that I use, inappropriate material. I think you know where I'm going with that. It's the stuff which, nobody should be looking at on the internet, but it's one of the most profitable areas on the internet. Gee, I wonder why. Gee, that can't be addicting at all. Yeah, except it is. How do I know? How do I know that this is addicting? How do I know that technology is addicting? I can look at people that I know. I can look at you. Well, I can't look at you. Look down at the dashboard. I see you. No, I'm kidding. I can't truly look at you, but you can look at yourself. You can look at the things that you struggle with in some of these regards. For starters, I want to say that a friend of mine has a very serious problem. He basically admits that he cannot be trusted to be near computers, at least unsupervised. He can do it in the workplace because, well, that's the workplace, and there's certain constraints there in the workplace. However, what is that term? Idle hands are the devil's workshop. In other words, he needs to be very careful about a number of different things. He's got a particular software that he utilizes to make sure that whenever he goes on the internet at home, in the dining room, in other words, in a public room where his wife can stumble upon him at any point in time, he still has an update go to her on a regular basis. I'm not sure it's her. It doesn't matter who it goes to. It goes to somebody who's an accountability partner. And that accountability partner knows if he does something wrong. Now, we've heard about these things before in various forms. I mean, we used to have this joke about the BlackBerry. People used to call it the crackberry because you were hooked on it. We know about people who spend all day chatting in chat rooms or playing video games, dating online, watching YouTube, or putting countless hours into whatever obsession they have. The reality is, plain and simple, people can become addicted to anything. Computers and technology are no different. We think of them as tools, but I'll tell you, how many of you have tried to do without your iPhone for one day? I did it recently. It was very rough, and that's because a lot of my job revolves around technology, revolves around everything that's going on, these alerts that come to my cell phone. Yeah, it slowed me down a bit that day. I could do that again. I probably should do that again. I do this once in a while where I abandon my cell phone for a while in the car, and I go and I just chill. They actually say right now about 10 to 15% of everybody online is addicted to being online. Now let's just define an addiction. It is a primary chronic disease characterized by impaired control over the use of a psychoactive substance and or behavior. Clinically, the manifestations occur along biological, psychological, sociological, and spiritual dimensions. Common features are a change in mood, relief from negative emotions, provision of pleasure, preoccupation with the use of substances or ritualistic behaviors, and continued use of the substances and or engagement in behaviors, despite adverse physical, psychological, and or social consequences. Like other chronic diseases, it can be progressive, relapsing, and fatal. Now, you don't think it can be fatal. You don't. But I've said this before. We hear on a regular basis that people, they were playing whatever video game all weekend long, and then they had heart failure. Okay, so I've heard that mostly comes from just the sustaining caffeine that they keep intaking, even though they haven't had any rest. And people who've committed the ultimate selfish act. That's a euphemism for somebody who's no longer with us because he did something stupid. Anyways, but they'll do that over things of very little consequence. The death of an online character. Someone did it because somebody stole their online character's big, huge sword or whatever it was. I mean, this isn't the vision that most people have of a carefree life of video gaming, where one earns rewards far easier than you might imagine. But yeah, this can be quite disabling. There are companies out there. There are recovery organizations that will help you with this. I don't know that your typical 12-step program has gotten involved in this very much, but there are some 12-step programs that I'll say this very carefully. There's a 12-step program that I'm aware of that my friend goes to, and he goes to this particular 12-step program, and it's specifically so he doesn't look at the inappropriate materials. Wow, that's mind-boggling. And some of the stories he's told me, a matter of how that addiction affected him, and the way he started to see the people around him, and how he started to behave because of what he saw and what he was exposed to. This is a big deal. There's all kinds of help out there. You can look for it. I've got a couple of one of these is actually a 12-step program. OLGANON.org. That's Online Gamers Anonymous. Netaddiction.com. That previous one was a 12-step program. Netaddiction.com. That covers a lot of different internet addiction things. Gaming, gambling. Of course, the seedy side of the internet, the one we've been sort of careful about mentioning. Online auctions. But what? Yeah, eBay. Think about this. You may not understand this. I barely understand. I have purchased items on eBay, and it can be kind of addicting. There's a certain level of a high that you get off of a successful buy or a successful sale. You're like, wow, I got that. Yes. It's like any auction, but there's a lot more to it because you're building up tension over the course of time, and they actually provide a level of feedback into that, in that you go out there and you're looking for those ultimate deals. Yeah, you can go down some pretty crazy roads there. Let me bottom line this. Do not ignore these problems. Don't set them aside and think that they're not important. You need to tackle these issues head on. You need to seek the help that you need. You're the only person who can do this. You're the one who has to admit if you have a problem or not. We'll talk more about this in the coming weeks. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. That is where you can contact us if you have any computer questions, you have technology that you are struggling with. Give us a holler. We will do our best to help you. We've got people in all kinds of different disciplines, whether it's Mac or PC. Even if you've got something with your house that's particularly technical, we've got Marty Winston, who is the brain behind the 40-year house. And Marty is joining me now. And Marty, one of the things, we've talked about the cameras so many times. I don't think I've ever asked you what you were going to do, who you were going to go with for your network video recorder.
Well, my choice was what? Get a counter and a whole bunch of old men to sit there and not really pay attention to the screens?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what all the security does at all of these casinos everywhere.
Well, right, but that's security, and I don't want security. I want surveillance.
Sure, yeah.
We're dealing with on-diff cameras. We're dealing with just essentially wanting to know unusual things that are happening around the house. Mm-hmm. So it needs an intelligence to do that, and that is a feature set of many NVR, network video recorder devices. Mm-hmm. But as I investigated the commercial units, I found some attributes I consider to be ugly.
Okay.
Part of it is tier-based pricing. Now, I'm going to have, give or take, 24 cameras.
Yeah.
They start their pricing at 4.
Okay.
And every time you add cameras, they want to charge you more money. Without changing the hardware, without really changing the software, it's a revenue producer.
Yeah. Wow.
And then there are annual fees.
Mm-hmm. Sure, of course.
Right.
I mean, this sounds almost like software manufacturers. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, or apps on your smartphone, right?
Yes.
And I know, I'm familiar with a lovely piece of software called Blue Iris.
Okay.
And Blue Iris could easily handle, in its standard edition, 60-some cameras.
Yeah.
More than I need. And Blue Iris runs on Windows.
Mm-hmm.
So I've decided, no, we're not going to go commercial. I'm going to roll my own. I'm going to make my own NVR.
Wow. Okay. So what kinds of things do you have to prepare for if you're going to be doing your own video recording on multiple cameras like that?
Well, it's really amazing that it's not all that robust a task. Let me go into the pieces.
Sure. Okay.
I'm getting a 4U high. That's a rack measure, 4 units high.
Okay. Yeah.
Computer case from Silverstone.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have an Asus X99 board in it. I've got to buy a Haswell LGA 2011 B3 CPU for it, the Core i7.
Mm-hmm.
That motherboard can take up to 64 gig of RAM. I probably don't need more than 8 for the video to work. I have a Mega RAID card, which does hardware-based RAID configuration.
Okay.
And I'll put together a RAID 6 using larger drives. For example, Seagate has a new line of NVR-specific drives at 10 terabytes each.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, 4 of those drives only gives me 20 terabytes in a RAID 6.
Yeah, yeah.
But 8 of them gives me 60 terabytes.
Nice.
That's more than I'm going to need. Also, the grooming that happens automatically with Blue Iris means the oldest stuff, and you can configure this, the oldest stuff goes away first.
Sure. Okay.
Blue Iris also lets you set up, and this is almost exquisite, motion detection that can pay special attention to certain regions within the camera's view or ignore certain regions within the camera's view.
Okay. All right.
It also has an API, and I can do a pass-through without connecting that to the outside world at all between one protected network, one LAN
Mm-hmm.
that talks only to the cameras,
Okay.
and one LAN that talks only to the controllers. Both of them protected from the WAN by a Carrier firewall, hardware firewall.
Carrier.
Well
Oh, yeah. I've heard of them just recently. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And with a hardware firewall in place, even though they're isolated from the WAN, they do pick up the benefit of, for example, network time service.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this lovely little double internal protected branch behind twin moats, if you will.
Wow.
With a single lane for passing information back. And what it's going to tell me is which of the 24 cameras is seeing motion. That's the only trigger I need out of it. Well, there's one other. I'll get into that in a second. But, for example, if you want to go running across the yard,
Yeah.
and you go into a zone that triggers a camera,
Mm-hmm.
and it happens to be a zone that the irrigation system wants to water, we can cut the water off without you getting wet.
Okay.
Little convenience tricks like that are fun. They're not the major reason for it, but it's there. The other signal path is in case of a fire. In case of a fire, of course, we're doing a lot of things, including unlocking all 5 exterior doors. But when those are unlocked, we're putting those cameras on full-time record.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. Normally, we'll record only a window of time following a trigger, or in fact, we even have the ability to grab a brief window of time before the trigger, so that events of interest are always logged for us.
Yeah.
And if weeks pass by and that's inconsequential, then it'll groom itself and erase, and we're fine.
Yeah, I'm thinking that 60 terabytes, that's a lot of time that you're going to be able to record. Have you?
Well, we're using HD cameras, and you can figure 4 gigabytes per hour. Do the math.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's quite a bit. But at the same time, if you're scaling that back because it's only recording whatever is being, wherever there's motion, That's you could have quite a long back history of whatever happens within the
normally
within the stuff,
you would be dealing with years. Yes.
Yeah. Now, and of course, with the cameras, you're still dealing with just the outdoor stuff. You've kept this as we should all be thinking about it in regards to our own privacy. You've kept this from being a tool that can be used by yourself to spy on yourself.
or let someone else spy on you if you're going out to the cloud.
Sure.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I'm hearing a car alarm outside.
Yes. That's okay.
A nicely thematic sound effect, I thought.
Yes. Do you have a camera covering it? That's the biggest concern, that somebody's going to come to asking you about that later.
Yeah, funny. We do have no internal. That's one of the rules. No indoor cameras at all.
Sure. Yeah.
So now you won't find a way into the house that we don't have on one or two of the other cameras. And ditto for a way out of the house.
Sure.
And the cameras are PoE and fed from, not all under the eave, but all high enough that they're not going to be easy to reach.
Yeah.
And every camera is in another camera's view.
Very nice. So you're not going to have a problem. I remember, and I've got. We're almost out of time, but I will tell you that at the office where I work, we had a camera system all set up, and one day someone came along from the neighborhood and stole one of the exterior cameras. We've got a shot of them. They thought they were being really sly. They pulled up their van and they've got a hat on. They're looking away from the camera. They climb up on top of the van without looking at the camera, and they reach on up and they're trying to find the camera, and then they look up at the camera, and we've got this absolutely wonderful facial shot of them stealing the camera. Oh man. Oh, well, you can plan all you want, but sometimes stuff happens. All right. This is Benjamin Rockwell. That is, of course, Marty Winston, and the website, 40yearhouse.com, 40yearhouse.com. I'll be back with more Computer Talk Radio in just a moment. I'm constantly looking for the right place to get the things that are on my nerd wish list. It's not easy. There are so many stores that have gone out of business. There are so many shady characters online, or so many of them are just simply not capable of handling my needs in a one-stop shop. In 1979, two guys got together and built the brick-and-mortar company that could serve your tech needs. Of course, today, they've got an online presence, and it's called Micro Center. They've got tablets, iPad, yes, but also Android and Windows and all the accessories, too. They've got laptops, desktops, all-in-ones, Windows or Apple, of course, all covered here. Motherboards and processors, and okay, all right, who are we kidding? It's really everything to build your own PC. Keyboards, mice, surge protectors, software, tools, and thumb drives. Enough. Look, from Apple to Zyxel, Micro Center has what you're looking for. 25 stores across the nation, or you can check them out online at microcenter.com. That's microcenter.com. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-6373-888. I'm a computer nerd. Go figure. Why else would I be mentioning that? So when you put together the fact that I'm a computer nerd with everything else, one of the things you've got to ask yourself, what is the most common question that I get? Yeah, maybe it's not the most common question. It's one of the most common questions, though. And it's kind of a funny one because I don't have an answer for you. Yeah, believe it or not, it seems like nobody truly has the full 100% answer for you. It's one of those things where you almost have to do this by yourself. You have to figure these things out. And the big question is... Option 1, on. Option 2, off. Yeah. We've heard about this before. We go back and forth in regards to a number of these different things. Do we leave it on overnight? Do we turn it off overnight? Do we leave it on 24/7? Do we turn it off except when we're using it? And there is a big camp out there that goes, turn it off when then it's not in use. Okay, you turn off your television, you turn off your radio, you turn off your car when you're not using it, so turn the computer off. Okay, now we go back and forth on a number of these different things. Some of the things for leaving it on, yeah, when you leave it on and you're not shutting it off a lot, basically, it used to be that there was an issue with when you turned it on, yeah, there was 5 minutes before it booted up all the way, but there was also that big, huge level of electricity going in, and that could wear out the components. And it used to be a big issue. It used to be a lot bigger than it is now. Today, systems are designed for being powered on and powered off. As a matter of fact, some of these systems, they actually have some level of already being powered on already. They're subcomponents. They're drawing a little bit of electricity, and they'll bring the computer on gracefully. Yes, the hardware's mostly shut down, but you've got the idea there. Some of the advantages to shutting it down. One of the big ones is this concept of memory leakage. When you run a program, your system goes out. It grabs this area of memory, and it's really supposed to free up that memory when you close the program down, but sometimes it doesn't do that as gracefully as it should. Something locks up. There's a bad level of programming in there or something, and the system just leaves it open. Now, initially, that's not a big deal, but if you leave your computer on for a couple of weeks at a time, like someone I know, oh yeah, that would be me, what happens is your computer will become sluggish. It will have some interesting error messages and stuff like that. Now, I restart my computer about once a week or so, whether it needs it or not. Now, why do I leave my computers on all the time? See, this is one of those issues where I leave them on all the time because I may access those computers. Okay, I access my home computers from the office. I access my office computers from home. I do a number of these different things where, oh yeah, I need to reference this, that, or the other thing. So I leave things powered on. Now, I don't leave them all powered on. I use a laptop for our Skype sessions with Steve Keske, who's coming up next, and for Keith Sedor. So I do this on a regular basis. I shut that laptop down because I'm only using it once a week. Yeah, maybe twice a week. Maybe a little bit more. But for the most part, I leave that shut down. I will power it up again when I need it. See, these are choices you have to think through. Are you really using that computer? Is it really being left available for you to use? Now, this is one of those things where if you do this on a regular basis, you leave your computer on all the time, you need to at least restart it. So we go back to that on or off. So the advantages to being on, you see right away. There is no advantage for most people to leave it on all the time now, though. I mean, your computer does have fans throughout. Now, we know that it's to keep the system cool all the time, but it's also bringing in dust. Of course, it's keeping bugs out because, yeah, bugs aren't going to make it past those fans. So this is one of those things where you need to weigh these issues out carefully. If you leave your computer on all the time, 24/7, you'll be needing to clean it out on a regular basis. That's one more item that I always forget about that one. I actually do clean my systems out about twice a year at the office, at home, because they're on all the time. You're going to need to reflect on that. When you go to clean the computer, if you haven't cleaned it, by the way, since springtime, check it right now, especially if it's been on that entire time. If you've only used it an hour a day, maybe it'll still be quite clean. Check it out. It doesn't take a whole lot to inspect your system, to pop open that case and go, oh yeah, it's clean, and then close it up. We have to weigh these things out. You have to make this decision, though. And, I've had people insist I give them an answer. Well, so should it stay on or should it stay off? These days, I'm leaning, if you have to pin me down, I'm going to say turn it off. Well, I don't know all of the different reasons that you might have, all of the different desires that you might put before me or yourself as to why you should leave it on all the time. So it's up to you. It's up to you to decide about things like, am I wearing out my hard drive? Well, the hard drive is going to last a lot longer if it's off than if it's on, because that's actually spinning around and around and around. If it's a regular rotating hard drive, 7,200 RPMs. Sometimes the older ones, a few years older, 5,400 RPMs. That's a lot of revolutions. It's spinning away, and that's got to be reliable, and it is. It'll last you a number of years. This is going to last you a number of years longer if the computer is, off. Steve Keske is joining me next here on Computer Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Benny Rockwell. Most of us use video cameras nowadays, but what about those old movie films in the back of your closet? Well, let me tell you about Legacy Digital Productions. They specialize in taking your old memories on film, videotape, and slides and digitizing them to DVDs. Imagine Grandpa's old 8mm and 16mm films that are just sitting in a box getting old and fading away. Legacy Digital will clean and recondition those films, capture them digitally frame by frame, and then produce beautiful DVDs of your precious memories on long-lasting, archive-quality discs. They don't use a projector, and your films can't be damaged in the process, the best available for families like yours. The final results are gorgeous. What better way to preserve those precious memories for future generations? Call right now, mention my name, Benny Rockwell, and receive a 30% discount on your order. Call toll-free 1-866-2-LEGACY. That's 1-866-2-LEGACY. 1-866-253-4229. And tell them Benny sent you. Your memories are priceless. So call 866-2-LEGACY now.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. Steve, what is on your mind for this week?
Well, I like to, how I always get with new applications or new ways of doing things.
Yes.
All right, and you know that I'm blind, so naturally I go for those audio files.
Sure,
when it comes to books.
Yeah.
Well, I found out a nice little deal with my local library.
Uh-huh.
They have the ability online that you can go in, and of course, if you've got your library card, you can go in there and you can create your account.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of libraries let you do that. But I found out that they also have online, or the ability to download or actually check out audio books right to your device.
Okay, nice.
Okay, and the one piece of software I use and that you would probably use is called One Click Digital.
Okay.
For the smartphone or tablet or whatever have you, you would use One Click Digital. For my PC at home, I would use One Click Digital Manager.
So now, is this something that's tied to people who are legally blind?
Not just legally blind. Anybody can.
So this entire software would allow any of us to get talking books at home that are available in the library.
Right. Or
nice.
even textbooks. I mean,
okay.
text in as far as it is that it is a file that is you could read.
Okay.
Okay, and that you can use it with different other devices as well as your smartphone or your tablet. I like it, and I got into it, is because I can go out there and I can check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, normally you can do it from 1 to 10 days. Okay. So what happens is that if you can listen to your book online through one-click digital, or you can download it.
Okay.
Now, I've been downloading them, and I put them on my hard drive.
Right.
So I was listening to this, and I was reading, and the reading says, well, you can't, if you download it and put it on your hard drive, after the 10 days, it takes it out of one click that you actually have this file, basically, that you have this file there.
Oh, okay.
So
it's automatically removing it. So it's digital rights management that's controlling this. So it's not like one of these situations where back in the old days where people had well, we can mention Napster. I guess Napster is out of business. That was one particular group there. People would download files and then just keep them on their hard drives. So this automatically just poof, it's gone.
No. It poofs it out of their list of titles that you have checked out. So, it basically tells you should delete it off your hard drive.
Yeah.
But most of these audio files are in the public domain anywhere, somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Usually.
Okay. So, yeah, if
I
it's public
would assume.
domain,
I haven't checked them all out, but I would assume. Anyway, the whole idea is that, you're doing this from your public library, and if you take it out, like for me, for 10 days, but after a couple of days, I said, wait a minute here, I don't really want to read this book. I can go in there and I can say return, and it automatically returns it, and it updates the public library's database.
Okay.
That I've got it out and that I've returned it.
Okay. Fairly neat. That's a nice little thing. So basically, people should check in with their local library. They should just go in and say, "Hey, what do you have available through this program?"
Yep. And you can also go out there, and when you create your account for One Click Digital, and you tell it what library you're at. And it's got a list of hundreds of libraries. For instance, I started typing in our local town in, and I get to the end, and it says, which one do you want? I mean, that town has public libraries all over the United States.
Okay.
That city. So it'll guide you down to what you want. But that's the area that you can do that. And the other good option is if you click on that little checkbox in the lower left-hand corner that says, remember my password, it not only your software on your hard drive, the manager, not only remembers that you're in the United States, not only remembers that what your library is, it remembers what your user ID is, and it remembers your password, so that when you go back and execute it the second time, 2 days later, you just have to say log in, and it automatically logs in for you.
Very cool. This is Benjamin Rockwell, and that's Steve Keske. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back with my closing comments in just a moment. Years ago, I found a web hosting company that fit my needs as a computer nerd, as a radio show host, and, well, a normal person. Recently, though, it became clear to me that it was time to upgrade. I had a choice between my old plan and the new one at 7 times the cost? It was that awkward point where I could choose between a sip of water or being dunked in a pool. I searched around, comparing the many options for someone like me. After looking for 3 weeks, there it was, SiteGround. In proper fashion, I tested their customer service, their knowledge, and their care, their willingness to do things the right way. The SiteGround salesman made sure that I didn't overbuy and get a 50-gallon bucket when all I needed was a 1-gallon bucket. The folks at SiteGround know WordPress, Joomla, and more. SiteGround.com. S-I-T-E ground.com for your web hosting needs. SiteGround. I can hardly believe it. We are actually here at the end of the summer. Wow, this day is... Not day. Yeah, this day went by pretty fast too, but this year has gone by amazingly, blazingly fast. Already I am getting ready for CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. Yeah, that's right around the corner. We're having to start planning now for January. A lot of technology has come and gone over the years with CES, with this show. And I am looking forward to so many things in the coming months. This is, I've been planning ahead. We've got a lot of stuff that's coming your way. But I want to, real quickly, throw a couple of offers out here for you. I answer computer questions on a regular basis. I've got a number of people who call me. I encourage you. I want you to call me with your computer questions. That's why I give out a toll-free phone number that rings to me all the time, not just once in a while, 24/7. All right, I'd prefer you probably didn't call me in the middle of the night. And actually, I turn off my phone ringer during the middle of the night for, well, exactly that reason. But you've got an idea at least. You understand, I'm here to answer your computer questions. If I don't answer the phone, yeah, leave a message. I will get back with you. We get all kinds of different things. A lot of stuff, of course, recently in regards to Windows 10. A lot of stuff in regards to, I had somebody call me in regards to a recovery CD. How do I recover? I had Windows 7, and then I upgraded to Windows 10. How do I recover to Windows 10? So we went through and we provided him information on that. And I will probably discuss that on an upcoming show in the next few weeks or so. But I want your ideas as well. What would make it more interesting for you to listen to Computer Talk Radio? What would you like to get out of this radio show more than what I'm providing already? Go to the website, computertalkradio.com. Slide down to where it says Contact Us. Give me an idea. Give me multiple ideas. We've got a number of different things which we have here that we're going to be giving away to the people with the brightest answers, with the best ideas. Usually they're going to be the new ideas, of course. But anything along the way. We've recently started putting the show up on YouTube. Okay, granted, you're not going to see my face on YouTube anytime soon. But we still have the audio available there for people who want just a different approach to listening to the show. I actually put everything up there as far as a PowerPoint presentation to kind of give you an idea of what we're talking about and allow you to move forward through the show and skip over segments you're not interested in or playback segments you are interested in. And that's up online. But go to the website. Our YouTube channel is linked from there. Again, computertalkradio.com. This is Benjamin Rockwell. We'll catch you next week.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time.